The cats in the streets were crying when I was coming back from the studio, from the gym in the morning. And something was annoying a cat. And I was wondering, is the cat hungry? Is the cat hot already in the morning? The cat is being fed every day by people. So I said, is the cat missing the people? What is the question? Why is she moaning in the morning? Maybe she feels bad, you know. But the fact that a cat can be interesting, and an object can be interesting, and the movement that the person next to me is doing is interesting, and the world is interesting. And see how you feel like with a without a neon light. Let's see how you feel. Tel Aviv is actually 108 years old. I'm a 57-year-old, so I lived more than half of the years of the city, and I've been a witness to the way the city has changed on one hand, and to the way the city actually remained as what it is actually. Tel Aviv is a very open city, unofficial city, Mediterranean city, with the fact that it's like a Spanish city with habits of siesta, of Schlafstunde in the afternoon, sleeping in the afternoon, actually finding shelter from the high heat or high humidity of the summer. The summer, the humidity, the sweat actually are part of our temperature, are part of our emotional system, are part about our behavior in the streets. And it's a part of even the junk that I collect in the city, because it's not a rich city. Through the years, I found out that actually rich cities, like European cities or New York, are full with the most amazing stuff that is thrown to the world, to the city, to the public surroundings. Tel Aviv has stuff that's actually really finished its life. There's about broken stuff. You don't find new things that are thrown to the streets. And basically, I'm somehow in the gray area of the leftovers, of what is actually being thrown, left, used, and maybe looking away to being recycled, to actually to gain new life, basically, to give a new hope to the object, to give a new hope to myself that there's always a new beginning. So actually Tel Aviv is a city about beginnings, of beginnings, and I think I'm a new beginner, basically. That's basically the idea of you being a new beginner, actually, all the time. The way we look at things is loaded, and actually you can phrase it differently. The way things do look at us. And then it's the way I start my movements with the objects. Where do I begin to paint them? How do I begin to dance around them? How do I look at them? Which is going to be an opening move. The first opening move. The big question, will I have some kind of colorful vision? Or even a set of moves that I will do. I will do these things with water-based paints. I will do these moves with a brush. I will use such and such brush. It's been a long time since I've used this kind of brush or with this kind of color. And then will this color dictate a next moves? It's really the choreography of movements that I have to decide, and I have to decide every day on a different or on a new set of choices. And we've known how fixed one is in his daily moves, you know, from brushing your teeth in the morning to making your own coffee to watering the plants, from watching television news in the evening. Like there's a fixed move that one is holding in his life. And there are fixed moves that you can say I'm holding or I'm doing to the collecting of the object, washing the objects. And then within the fixed moves, it will be breaking it, changing it, getting it into one single move which is not following the regularity or the habit of doing the very same moves. And this little change is also what it's all about, is the little thing that you allow yourself on this day. Actually, poetry is actually creating from words what I create with paints and two different gestures. When I get two different gestures together on wood, and the wood preserve the paint differently. It might reject some paint, it might absorb the other paint. So it has a different sound. It's like what poetry does to words. They do have a different sounds, which gives new meaning to the lineup of words. Whatever carries me to experience something new, even in an old experience, because we repeat ourselves. Even saying it to myself right now, it's like committing it to myself for the next week within the studio. You know, I have to put, like what we were talking about, eating spicy food. I have to put some spices into myself. And one has sometimes, you know, you forget about the spices that are in your cabinet when you're cooking, and then you cook less and less and less with spices, and then suddenly you discover the spices again. And you're having this renewed love for spicy food. You know, once a month Indian food, that's a good idea. It's still a miracle when an object in the street is turned into a painting. It's still a miracle, it's still a big miracle when the object is actually on the floor and it jumps on the wall. It's still a miracle when the object is on the wall in the studio and it gets out to an exhibition, it's on the wall in the museum. Somehow the aura that it gets when it's on the wall in a space. But then it's really fantastic that when the show is over and they go back to the studio and they're really becoming here this mess, this big mess of not knowing what they are, that actually gives them another hope again to have second or third or fourth life in the near or in the far future.